My rich dad started teaching me about money playing Monopoly. The deal I had with him was I had to work for free, and he would teach me how to be a rich man, by investing. So we played Monopoly. So today we own hotels, we own this, but it locked it into our brains. The trouble with school is it goes in one year and out the other, as you guys know. It's boring as shit. The teacher doesn't know what they're talking about. I started looking at how do you teach via games. Blair Singer and I got to be pretty good at, instead of lecture, we played games and debrief, things like that. I forget, 1996, the Australian Broadcasting Commission came after us, shut us down. I said, well, what can I do? So with that, I created the cashflow board game. And then they could argue with the board game. That was the whole thing. What I used to teach with the board game was that we have a left brain and we have a right brain. And genius occurs when both brains are firing. But you will notice that there are many people who are very smart academically, but they're not genius. Like Gammon is one of those guys. Those guys are just facts and figures. And guys like me are gone. I'm checked out. Give me something to do. It's like trying to teach a game of golf by lecture. You can't do it. It's impossible. I don't know how anybody learns anything. Well, a lot of times these guys are just hammering away, yapping away up there. Is anybody learning anything? So you have my permission to ding those fuckers, because all they do is yak. The thing with the game is that it engages 4 intelligences: mental, emotional, physical, spiritual. So like when you play the game of golf, it engages all 4. Would you imagine learning to play golf watching a YouTube video? Yeah, in 96, I created the cashflow board game with Tim because the most boring subject on planet Earth is accounting. And then we just added the Monopoly board to it. One more statement is Maria Montessori, the Montessori school system says, what the hand does, the mind remembers. Just think of it as a golf game. You cannot learn to play golf, or you cannot learn to play golf and do what you do without the equipment. And the reason so many people are poor is they're trying to memorize, the debt to GDP ratio is this, and I'm out. I've gone so hard and fast. And YouTube is filled with those guys. I call them chihuahuas, But there's another guy, Blair Singer. If you could promote his book for me. Blair wrote the book Sales Dogs. And he talks about the different types of sales guys. So like Trump is a big dog. There's guys who are like the golden retrievers, they like, oh, pet me, pet me, pet me, pet me, pet me. And then there's chihuahuas. And most of the guys on YouTube are chihuahuas. You have to engage all 4 intelligences. And that's where Maria Montessori kicks in. What the hand does, the mind remembers. Only pick up that golf club, you're on it. Now the brain, Sandra, us seen a picture of it. When we were born, we have a whole brain. But about age 4, the brain starts to split. And it finally comes down to a bridge between the left brain and right brain called the corpus callosum. And that connects left and right. So when you pick up a golf club, you're engaging both brains. But if I'm sitting there lecturing in school, I only have one. And those are the guys who do well in school. They memorize an answer, but they can't do shit. That makes sense? So when I studied this whole thing that Blair and I started studying, he knows a lot about this also. When you're learning to play golf, it's like, God damn it, how come I can't, what? And what's happening is your brain is working both sides, left and right, and it's crossing the corpus callosum. And then suddenly there's you've had it, we've all had it. It's a flash of genius. I got it. That's like when I was learning how to play baseball and all of a sudden I got it. That's when the brain integrates. But it's got to have that struggle. But guys like Churchill had these flashes constantly. Einstein had them too. They just naturally were tapped into the universe. So God taps in via your right brain. If you're left-handed or right-handed, it changes. Okay, if you're right-handed, Churchill and those guys would have these flashes. It would stun them, and they'd sit quietly for a while. And what it was, the thought coming in from God or heaven or wherever it comes from. I'm not religious. It allowed them to speak about it. So it entered via the right brain. It's like a flash of, and then it allows you to talk about it. But in school, you sit there, you got a left brain person teaching a left brain, and they can memorize it. You have no idea. So Sandra has some diagrams I use and all that. But the purpose of the cash flow board game was to engage all four intelligences. And then what happens, the cash flow board game, it goes from the rat race, it pushes you onto the fast track. So the reason I'm always into the bigger deals is because I can push my brain out. But I talk to, like my doctor, I mean, she's stuck. She's a student. She's stuck small. Whereas I'm always pushing my brain out to how far, okay, how do I do that? But I've done it so many times, blew the connections clear. It's how do you put that in pictures? Purpose of the game is you're going left brain, right brain, left brain, right brain, left brain, numbers, deal. Left brain, right brain, how to make that deal fit that number. I talk to some of these muscle heads up there. They can't think creatively. They couldn't put a deal together, they saw it. They're better off having a 401k or something like that. I own a gold mine. Well, how did you do that? I wanted one. Where'd you go to school? I didn't go to school. Bought a gold mine. Kenny's the same way. Gamma's more left brain, extremely left brain. That'd be like saying, if you can't play golf, you can't play golf. So if you want to learn to play golf, you better pick a fucking golf club, asshole. Go out there and train your whole body. Doug Cates is pretty left brain. I can tell you. Smart boy. Those are the guys that dominate the world, left brainers. If you're left-handed, then it's your right brain. That's what I studied for years. So if you were to learn to play golf, I'm sorry, but you'll never learn because natural golfer. Well, nobody's a natural golfer. We can learn, but it takes action to learn. You have to do something. And the trouble with academics is you don't have to do anything, just memorize the answer. That's a big part of it, is when academics punish you for making mistakes, it actually retards your growth. Don't make mistakes. This is a big project. But this thing is called the corpus callosum that goes between left brain and right brain. But that's what schools are trying to do. In school, the kids were artistic, but not academic. The guys were academic, but not artistic.